My name is Deborah Asbury, and I'm here to present my intervention program called Let's Move It, Move It. This program is a school-based intervention that addresses physical activity or the lack of. The target area is elementary schools here in West Virginia. The program for the intervention would be to introduce physical activity as part of the daily curriculum in classrooms. This is important here in West Virginia. During the winter months, when outside activity is limited due to cold weather, student spends at least 5 hours, sometimes more, sitting in a classroom. According to the report by the Healthy People 2020, childhood obesity has doubled in the last 30 years. In 2012, 1/3 of the students was considered obese or overweight. This program would last for approximately 3 months, from when the students would return to school in January to about the end of March. The desired outcome is to increase physical activity during school hours, informing teachers, faculty, staff, students, and their parents about the importance of being physically active. By being physically active, it helps to improve your physical being, your mental being, and it has shown to improve the ability to learn. Now I would like to explain more details about the program and the needs assessment of it. This program is focused on students that are ages 6 to 11 years old. West Virginia has a high obese or overweight problem in public schools. West Virginia ranks 38th in this category. In 2011, according to the Alliance for a Healthier Generation, approximately 1 in 3 children are overweight or obese. That is saying that in a classroom of 24 students, 8 of these students are obese or overweight. And being overweight or obese can lead to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, premature death, and other diseases. The University of Vermont has done a study which was centered on what they call the sitting disease. They came to the conclusion from the study that even though children may be getting enough exercises, that sitting for such a long period of time can be just as risky. Studies have shown that sitting as long as 8 hours may be as bad as smoking. Now, this is not to lessen the dangers of smoking, but to warn the dangers of sitting for such a long time. The American College of Sports Medicine and researchers from the University of South Carolina published a research paper stating that even though a person may get the recommended weekly exercises, that will not combat the effects of sitting for so long. A meta-analysis that consisted of 10 individual studies stated that there was a greater risk to develop metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is a cluster of biochemical and physiological abnormalities that is associated with the development of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. Another study has suggested breaks in sitting behind a desk may reduce the risk of metabolic syndrome. Also, by introducing physical activity and the importance of it at such a young age may help to develop a routine that may last a lifetime. The intervention will take place in Raleigh County at one elementary school. The school chosen will have a total of 7 classes, and they do not change classes for their subjects. We will first set up a meeting with the board office and explain the goal of the program that we want to obtain and get permission to go into the chosen school. Then we would go into the school and speak with the teachers, students, faculty, staff, and parents. We would try to schedule a meeting with the teachers either during their planning time or a day that they have in service at the school where students are not present. We would also like to present the program during one of the regular board meetings. We would invite the parents to the presentation that would be at the board meeting, or they may come to the meetings that we'll be having with the teachers. We will also be sending out brochures about the program, about our goal, about the effects of being physically inactive. And these brochures will go out to the parents. First, we will need to look at the schedule for elementary schools. I am a substitute teacher here in Raleigh County, and I am very familiar with the routine of elementary school. On the average, elementary school starts at 8 a.m. Then they let out at 3:15 in the afternoon. That is a total of 7 hours and 15 minutes spent at school. A day in the school consists of 30 minutes recess. This is a great physical activity for the students if they can go outside. But here in West Virginia, the way the weather is, that sometimes they have to stay in the classroom. This causes their physical activity to be restrained and limited. They also have 30 minutes for lunch. Then they have music and PE. Some elementary schools implements the computer lab into this time slot. The length of this class is usually 40 minutes. For the schools that has just the PE and music during this time, there's two ways they can implement this routine into that schedule. One way is they spend 20 minutes in music and then 20 minutes in PE. This happens every day. Another way that this happens is they spend 40 minutes in music one day, 40 minutes in PE the next day. And then they alternate days between music and PE. For the elementary schools that includes the computer lab, from where I have worked with them, they alternate days. One day is PE, one day is music, one day is computer lab. And then they go back to PE, music, computer lab. Students has 1 hour and 40 minutes of time that's not spent in the classroom. The other 5 hours, 15 minutes is spent sitting at their desk. I believe this is what the University of Vermont is calling the sitting disease. The goal of the program is to increase physical activity during class time. This must be able to be done without disrupting the learning process. Most subjects are taught 35 to 45 minutes each. They are on the average 5 major subjects. One activity could be that textbooks are kept all on one side of the classroom instead in the student's desk. This could then, when between subjects, when the students needs to have their next textbook for the next subject, the teachers can put on music and form a line of movement, dancing, moving to the beat of the music to obtain their textbook and walk the long way around to get it and come back to your desk. Another way is most classrooms are arranged in rows. Have everyone stand up beside their desk. Let the teacher has the music going, and while they are standing beside their desk, they are moving, dancing. They are not sitting still. You let the first row go, get their books, walk the long way around to get their books, come back to the desk, but keep moving. The second row would do that, get their textbook, come back to the desk, but keep moving. Keep the whole class moving till everybody has their books. And the students would understand that when the teacher stopped the music, you are to sit down and to be quiet. This could add 50 minutes of physical activity to a student's classroom. As As a substitute teacher, I have noticed that when a student sits too long, they become bored and restless. This often leads to them becoming disruptive and undesirable behavior. I usually play a game with them when this happens, and it involves physical activity. Basically, the way it goes, and this can be implemented into the program, all the students are sitting at their desk. We will play this game for 5 to 8 minutes, and I will ask a question. It would be a question that they could be answered with yes or no. For example, the first question was, do you have a dog? If they do have a dog, they jump up out of their seat and stand beside their desk. Then I would ask another question, do you have cats? And the ones that are sitting that has cats, the students that are sitting that has cats would jump up and when they acknowledging that they have cats. Now the students that are standing that has cats and dogs, they would naturally sit down. So there could be a variety of questions. There's no certain rule, no certain pattern of questions. You can usually look over your students and tell what kind of questions you can ask and not ask. When I finish this, I have found that they are more relaxed. They're not so tensed up like they was when they was doing the lessons, and they're ready to get back to work. The framework of this program would be as follows. I would choose a small elementary school that consists of 7 classrooms. I already have one in mind, and it's in the rural areas of Raleigh County. I would design and print brochures for the parents. These brochures would include information about why physical activity is important to a child, what are the consequences of not being active, and maybe even have some suggestions of what they can do to encourage physical activity from their children. Also, I would print up posters that will be used during the meetings at the board with teachers, and posters that can be put up throughout the school during the program. I would create questionnaires for the beginning of the program and for the end. Teachers will be the only one that will have to fill out these questionnaires. And they're basically 2 questions. One is, what is the student's grade? And we would ask the teachers not to list the student's name. The teacher is the only person that needs to have this information. And they could link this information with the student ID number. Because at the end of the program, the same questionnaires will be passed out again. Only this time we will be asking for feedback from the teachers also. Also, we would like to know, how disruptive are your students? On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being most disruptive, we would ask that you score each student, again, not with the student's name, but with the student ID number. And we need these numbers so we can see if there's an improvement at the end of the program. The questionnaires for the end of the program would contain the same questions as I've already mentioned, and we would ask for feedback from the teachers and any suggestions that the teachers may have. Okay, after getting this material printed up, then I would make an appointment with the board members to present the program. I would want to present this program during a regular board meeting. Now I would schedule the presentation for the teachers, either during their planning time or during one day when they have in-school service where the students are not in school that day, but the teachers are. We would invite the parents to either one of these presentations so they would know what is going on with their students. After setting a definite date for the program to start, we would get our program staff to go to work directly with the teachers one-on-one in their classrooms and help the teachers to implement the program. We would plan on having staff to spend at least 2 days with each teacher. And we would also make sure the teachers would know how to contact us if there was to have any questions. After completion of the program, which would be by the end of March, we would have the teachers fill out the questionnaires again. They will have the same questions as the beginning, plus teachers will be asked for feedback and suggestions on how to improve the programs. Also, do they have any ideas how to implement more physical activity into the classrooms? Some things that as an outsider we need to understand about going into schools is that students are there to learn, and we are not to disrupt that process. We need to become familiar with the school's routine. We must present ourselves as professionals and be respectful with the teachers, faculty, staff, students, and parents. Let the benefits of programs be known and how it will improve the students' performance. This program is adaptable to all students. It doesn't matter if they have a learning disability, a physical disability, if they have autism, ADHD, if whatever, this program can be adapted to fit that student. This program, we expect classrooms to be of average size, and the meetings themselves shouldn't take over 60 to 90 minutes. If the meetings took place during a teacher's planning time, we would do a condensed version of the meeting. This could be done because, after all, we will be working one-on-one with the teachers in the classroom. The budget is very simple since the materials would already be in the classrooms. Most teachers has a way of providing music, the textbooks, the classroom itself is all the materials that's needed to implement this program. So basically it would be the wages of the staff that we would have to consider, which I expect it to be 40 to 50% of the budget. The other 15 to 10% of the budget would be used for printing up the brochures, the posters, and the questionnaires. We would like to partner up with the local health departments and the pediatricians, especially the pediatricians of these particular students that we would be presenting the program to. They would know exactly what would benefit, what wouldn't. They could give us ideas of what is good and what is not. After this program is completed, we would gather up the questionnaires and evaluate it and see how much improvement there was. We would schedule a meeting with the teachers and the parents to present the final findings. We would send a written report to the school and to the board office, and then we tried to get support from the schools, from the school that we used, from the parents of the students, the health department, and the pediatrician to implement this program county-wise. Again, we have to remember that our children are our future. And if we can teach them at such a young age of the importance of being active, of eating healthy, of being active in school, then this is something that maybe they can carry on into their adulthood and prevent more diseases that is becoming prevalent here in our country. Thank you for listening to our plans to bring an intervention to create more physical activity in elementary schools. And please encourage our children to move it. Thank you.